जस्तै यो बुद्धि सागरजी नामैले नि तपाईहरुलाई एउटा भन्ने चलन छ नि युवाहरुको मुटुको ढुकढुकी युवाहरुको मात्र नभई हामी सम्पूर्ण नेपाली जनताको मुटुको ढुकढुकी जी को सेसन रहेको छ यसमा यो सेसनको नाम इकोज अफ बोल्ड भोइस बुद्धि सागर्स जर्नी रहेको छ यसलाई ठ्याक्कै नेपालीमा अनुवाद गर्दाखेरि साहसिक आवाजको अनुगुञ्जन बुद्धि सागरको यात्रा हुँदो रहेछ नेपालीमा अझै गजबको अनुवाद सुइदो रहेछ अब म ढिलो नगरी बुद्धि सागरजीलाई स्टेजमा निम्त्याउन चाहन्छु बुद्धि सागरजीको बारेमा मैले धेरै भनिरहनु परेन In conversation with Buddhi Sagar today, we have Milee Ashwarya, an influential editor and publisher known for bringing bold and fresh voices to the forefront of South Asian literature. Let's give them both a warm round of applause as we begin this exciting conversation. अब यो रमाइलो संवादको शुभारम्भसँगै यहाँहरूलाई जोरदार तालीले स्वागत गर्दै म फ्लोर यहाँहरूलाई हस्तान्तर गर्न
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be back in Kathmandu and to see all of you here post-lunch. So I think that's a good sign. I think we need a slightly louder round of applause for Buddhi Sagar. So let's give it up to him. I've been waiting for this session because we publish Karnali Blues in English in India, and it's done so well for us. It's one of the most popular novels here. It's a cult novel. And finally, I get to meet and speak with our writer here in front of all of you. So I think that's a great feeling, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. As it was just announced, this session is about Buddhi Sagar's writing journey. So we'll discuss both. But I did want to start with your life and how was it growing up in Nepal? What was your childhood like for all of us here? Can you share a little bit about your early life with all of us?
Thank you, Milee ji. And thank you so much for having me here. So a month ago, I was full of confidence. I thought, okay, it's just that will be going to be just a conversation. I'll do it that all the things, and day by day, my confidence, about to reduce day by day. And a week ago, I thought, okay, that will be going to be difficult. And yesterday night, I thought it will be very difficult. It be going to be very difficult. In the today morning, I feel like that I born in that morning, and like it's happening in my life. So thank you so much. But you actually, that I'm not an English writer, so I'm translated writer. So if I make some mistake, please forgive me. I know you are the genuine people out there, so thank you so much. So I grew up in the far west in Nepal. In my childhood, actually, my childhood was full of drama, There was a full of drama because I am not a good student, not a good child. I run away from the school. I skip school many times. So often I go run away from the school, and I spend all the day in the jungle alone, talking with birds, monkeys. I know how to monkey climb the trees, all the things, and laying down in the shade of the tree, just watching the sun rays coming, all the things. So my childhood is a childhood. I am not a good student. That's why I make the many stories. There is a lot of things, silly things I did in that unwise time. So that's why I'm picking all the moments from my childhood and making the big thick novel right now. So I'll add you later more. I'm getting so nervous.
No, thank you for sharing those tidbits. We were just talking, before our session, and you mentioned you're a little shy, and you
Yeah,
used to
actually,
spend a lot of time
it's
outdoors.
title is like to be like that, a journey of nervous Buddhi Sagar. You know that.
Well, I think we are going to see a different side. I hope, during the conversation, I make you talk a little bit more, and for you to share more with your readers and the people here. You did, of course, have and hanging from trees and talking to monkeys. But what were you reading during your childhood? Were you into books? And what were some early inspirations or books that you remember reading?
Yeah. So I don't like to read. I didn't like to read the books. Of course, that book is from the course. So one day in the Katase Bazaar, I saw one guy is reading something different book. A little bit different. So I goes there and I just see there is a lot of picture and less words. And what kind of book it is? I just start to uh, see that book, and I discovered first time that is called comics. And I know the character of that comics is called Tulsi. That is like a fish who is became a hero. Is like a Aquaman in that time in Hindi comics. And I asked him, please, can I read this book? So he's gave me to read, and I sat there and I read all the books because I know a little bit Hindi from the movies, all the things. Uh, and I asked him, when did you found this book? So he said, there is some shop, they will give you books to read and rent. So I ran away there and I saw many hundreds of books out there. So I start to rent comics and read three or four comics for the one day. They ask for the 2 rupees in that time. So sometimes I need 10 rupees or 12 rupees in a day. But that time, that 10 rupees is, so big money for us. So, and I read a lot of comics. After that, I went to the detective novel like Ved Prakash Sharma. So almost 500 plus novel I read that time. And after that, one day that shopkeeper told me that I am leaving from here, so I don't want to carry all the books. So you are the only one good reader here. If you want to buy all the books, I can give you in the cheap price. So I asked my father I told my father, he asked 1200 rupees. So my father said, what do you do? All the books is silly books, all the things, but I cry, I beg, I did all the things, and he gave me 1200 rupees. So I brought all the books and I read. Yeah. So I read and I start to give in the rent, all the things. So one day I thought, okay, reading is now is enough. I read too much. I thought, okay, I read too much. I want to write it look like the same detective novel in my language. So I caught they published the detective novel. I caught the paper and glued it. So after that, I start to write there in my own detective novel. So I put the name is like I remember that name is like a Mantri ko Hatya. The minister was watching TV that time. So when his wife come 15 minutes later, he found dead, and that start the story. Like telling things. I wrote that all the things, and I finished that book like a 200 300 long. So I finished that book and I put in the between the detective novel. I thought, okay, I'm also became the writer. This is my novel. So one day when I returned from the school, I saw my father was reading that. So it's like I'm like ghostly. I'm watching what will be his reaction. It's like sometimes he's smiling, all the things. So when he finished this, it's put in the same rack and the novel. And I am so it's like I am so nervous that time. And he said, again, don't write that kind of silly things. because there is a something happen. Why he called these silly things? Because of what I read, there is a, like in the like a DT novelist, they put some intimate scene out there. So
Not the
yeah, I
book
also create
for
the
your
intimate
father.
scene also. In the 7 standard, I create the. So my father thought, okay, this is the crazy guy, and also I write the, when I saw the beautiful girl, I write the love letter, and send them. It's like my father know that if he see the uh, beautiful girl, he will write a letter. After that, he start to write the
And also writing books so early. Um, of course, you became a journalist later, and you did a lot of other work. So, how was this transition from journalism to writing full-fledged novels?
The first of at first I was a poet. I came to journalism later. When I published my first poetry book, I wrote some essays, 8 page long essay prose there. So editor from the Naya Patrika, he likes my prose. He's invited me. It's like you are the poet. I know that you want to be a big poet, a popular poet in your future, but your language is very well. So if you want to work in the newspaper, I can give you the job list. So you should write in the Naya Patrika. I know you wanna write, many things. So you can write whatever you want. I don't edit you. It's up to you. Just write here. So I start to write the profile of people's, all the things, and some kind of short stories. And day by day, when that my article published, after tomorrow, or after day after tomorrow, all the things I get the message from the reader. It's like, I like your this kind of part, I like this kind of part, you have to work hard on this part, like that. So they send me the suggestion. So I work in the newspaper 5 years. Yeah, but that's give me the chance to polish my writing. And in 5 years, I have, I already make the some readers. So when I start to write a novel, and I have a thought, it's like some people will read my novel. Yeah, that's that's how I'll get the hope.
Very interesting. So from poetry and lot of profiles that you wrote to your novel, which has done so well. Karnali Blues is a cult novel and probably the most popular novel and work of fiction in Nepal. How does it feel now? After so many years, I believe it's been 15 years or more since the book came out first. How does it feel?
It's like now when I remember past, it's give me the joy, that. And I started writing my Karnali Blues. It's like that time I was 26, in the age 26. So I have many friends, creative musician, journalist, writer, friend. So they often ask, say I suddenly start to tell them, okay, I am writing the novel is in my mind, but I never start write in the paper. But I used to say, okay, I'm writing the novel. They said, you are so young to write a novel. Live your life first. At least became 25, 35, 40, you live, you can see the, sides of life, then start writing novel. But you know that after my father's death, I have some kind of trauma, or some kind of, that kind of pain in my heart. I live alone in Kathmandu. So I always remember, and always I had no job, so always I have a problem with money. Sometimes, like what to eat today, I remember I was, hungry from the, I haven't yet know that. So that time I feel like that, okay, it's like that metaphor is like, as a, as a, one is snake, like shallow, the other dead is snake. One day I felt like that my one intestine are eating each other. That's feel, and at that time I feel like that what's happening is my life, all the things, but I create my hope from the myself, that I think, okay, this is a so different kind of feelings. I So I will write one day. So I have that kind of fire to write something. So I start to write a book called Karnali Blues. This is your answer. What is your question? Sorry.
Yes, no, you have answered my question. And I think you also given us a little inkling into the inspiration behind the book. The book is about the relationship between the father and
Yeah.
son. So how did it pen to paper? It was in your mind, but how did you begin writing? And tell us more about the inspiration behind the book.
And that's I got the idea of the book in my bedside of my father. I spent. I already told you, not here, outside. Okay.
I don't think you
I
shared
got
this story with
confused. It's like
everyone. I, of course,
I
know
thought
it.
I repeating same thing right now. So
No, I think we are doing fine. What do you guys think? Are we doing okay? Yes, you're enjoying the conversation.
so I got the idea from the bedside of my father. I spent 18 days in the Kolpur teaching hospital. So my father is ill. It's like uh, 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 I feel like when I got the message, father is ill, so you have to go to hospital. I went to hospital, and we haven't met that time. So I thought my father is healthy, so smiley, all the things. 5 years later, I saw the old man, almost dying person is lying in the bed. I thought this person is not my father because my father is a different one. So that's hurt me so much. So 15 days, I don't wanna live in that moment. I just live in the memories. My father was like that. He's riding the bicycle. He's buying something, all the things. And that time I got the idea of storytelling back and forth. So I got the idea from there. So other thing is like Katase Bazaar. Who have read this book know that Katase Bazaar. That bazaar also haunts me because I spend my most memorable time out there. So when I was alone in Kathmandu, try to write Katase Bazaar about in the poetry, all the things. And when I share my feelings to my friend, he said, "Oh, it's so touchy story. You should write about it, all the things." When I write the poetry and when I recite, they said, "No, no, no, no. It's not just like you said earlier. All the things you can work again." So I thought, okay, poetry is not a form that to share my things. So I have two things to write. So when I start to write about my father, they come after. Yeah.
Why don't you read a section from the book, and it'll give all of us, I think, a lot of younger people who also hear
Yeah.
a flavor of the book.
So many people ask, this is how much autobiographical is this novel is. So I said it's like a 50-50. Some is imagination, some is real event. So I will recite, I will read some paragraph. This is actually is happened in my life. It's based on. Have you felt again? Father asked me quietly. I nodded my head. Father thought for a long time. Shiva Sankar asked him twice if he would like to have some tea. but father did not reply. A moment later, he wiped down his bicycle, pressed both of its tires with finger. I just sat there hanging my head. Get on, father said. I settled myself meekly on the carrier, my thigh spired wide on either side. After we had crossed the bazaar, the bicycle bucked and reared like holes, and the two sides of father's waistcoat flapped like wings of the bird. At the big cemetery, the bicycle turns and headed to my school along the Jamarakhola river bank. Soon we could see the school. It was a midday. Its genic roof shone like a stretch of water. Father dropped me off the gate. He went He went on inside under the national flag that hung straight ahead of the gate and disappeared from the sight. The school was shut, so there was a deep silence. The school was surrounded by 5 layers of barbed wire, pieces of paper caught in the wire, punctured in the cold breeze, and the flag was flapping hard in the wind. I was deep in my thought. A jewelry bird suddenly appeared from somewhere and settled on the barbed wire. Its eyes were like a little mole and it twisted its head from side to side. For a moment, it preened the feathers on its wings. Then it flew up, perched higher up in the wire. My mind had become a jewelry bird. I whistled quietly. The jewelry turned its head and fixed its beady eyes on me. I stood as a I stood as still as a tree stump for fear that it would fly away. I was enjoying watching the jewelry, but suddenly I recalled with the start. I felt a landslide in my chest. Two fails in four class 4. I felt angry. So I went down, picked up the cord of the soil and railed it to the jewelry. Batak, the jewelry flew up over the Jamara Khola, higher and higher still. If I had been a jewelry, I, I too would have flown away like that. I will have kept flying. There will have been no need to study for. In the no time at all, the jewelry had disappeared into the sky. Far, far away, there was a pale blue hill that touched the sky. The cloud flew over the hill like told that it was at Kachisapani. I was still gazing at the hill, lost in my thought, when I noticed that Thapasar was coming out and had already reached the gate. I didn't see him until he was nearly at my side. He was smiling, wearing the hat with a string that hung down to his chin. I lowered my head. How is it, Birsa Bahadur? Class 5? I did. I did not look up or say anything in reply. एकछिन है, मुख सुक्यो. I did not understand what was sir talking about. Next time, you must pass by studying well. You shouldn't always pass just because your father makes you pass. A moment, father appeared to pull up right beside me in his bicycle. Get on. I climbed onto the bicycle. Father did not say anything. A few days later, I was in section B of class 5 in the red rhododendron group. On the desks in front of me, the fragrant new books were filled up, along with dozen sign pens. All that remained was for Thapa sir, the Nepali teacher, to come at the first bell. I was promoted to class 5 because of father. Everybody believed sir. When he announced that Birsa Bahadur had not failed, it was just that his name has been left off the list. When I remember this, I feel like crying. I picture father's face as I turn the page of red rhododendron exercise book. Working forward from back, I start and then I wrote with red sign pen, there is no one in this world like my father. Thank you.
Very nice. Well,
But this is the real.
true story, right?
Yeah, it's true. Based on true story.
I think a lot of inspiration for writers, sometimes for the entire book or for parts of the book and characters, comes from true life and experiences. And I think that is true for you too. One of the interesting things that you've done in the novel is you've used a child as the narrator. You know, he's the child is the narrator. You know, he's a narrator. It's through his eyes that we see the story and understand what is going around. Was that a conscious choice?
I don't listen anything. What's
I'm
happened?
asking.
It's like
I'm
a
asking
problem
about the
with my.
narrator, the child narrator in
Yeah,
the
child
book.
narrator.
Yeah. Did you do?
Yeah, this like I want to write a novel, is I throw the suns, and I use the simple language, and there is I actually conscious about that all the things, and that the boy who writes the poetry, who have written poetry about the nurse, that narrator have written the poetry about the nurse in the book. So that time I was a poet and I got a gold medal from the poetry in the Nepal Academy. So one of my friend who read the manuscript, he said, "You are a good poet, but that poetry you put in the you place it that book poetry in the books. That's just so bad. You should write the beautiful poetry there." So I said, "It's not. I'm not writing poetry. That's a guy who whose father is in the that boy haven't read any books in his life in the literature all the things, so he wants to write the first time in the poetry about the nurse, and I thought that poetry will have to be like this. So I have a many thought and my many conscious thing about the narrator because he is the normal guy, average guy from the far western Nepal. So sometimes I manage like that. Yeah.
I have one more question before I open the floor for questions. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand and we'll come to you after my last question to Buddhi Sagar. You have explored a lot of themes in the novel, from memory to familial bonds, growing up in rural Nepal. What would you tell a young Buddhi Sagar? Looking back, if you have to give any advice to yourself, you have a lot of young people say to him.
If I met young Buddhi Sagar, yeah, young Buddhi Sagar did very well, very well in that kind of circumstances because he did very well. So I don't have any advice to him. But if old Buddhi Sagar, not old adult Buddhi Sagar, if I love to you know uh, get some suggestion from the uh, what young Bodhisattva. That I want to. I just will to. I would like to get a suggestion like that. How to carry innocence in the books? How that you did in the Carnally Blues. Thank you.
Really interesting. Okay, we'll go to our audience for questions now. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Pass the mic around to the gentleman here in the center.
बुद्धि सागरजी
हजुर
म तपाईँलाई एकदम हार्डली नमस्ते भन्न चाहन्छु। तपाईँले कर्णाली ब्लुजमा एउटा महाकाव्य लेख्नु भएको छ। यु आर रियली भेरी ग्रेट राइटर, आई सेल्युट टु यु।
थ्याङ्क यू।
अनि अर्को कुरा मलाई के भन्नु मन लाग्यो भने तपाईँले अङ्ग्रेजीमा भन्दा पनि नेपालीमा भन्नुभए हामीलाई अझै राम्रो हुन्थ्यो होला है, किनभने हाम्रो मातृभाषा नेपाली हो। वी सुड रेस्पेक्ट आवर मदर ल्याङ्ग्वेज है, त्यो एउटा हो। अर्को कुरा चाहिँ मैले तपाईँलाई के सोध्न चाहेँ भने कर्णाली ब्लुजबाट तपाईँले के नेपाली फिल्म बन्दी हुन्थ्यो भन्ने चाहनुहुन्छ? एउटा क्वेसन।
लास्टको
कर्णाली ब्लुजबाट तपाईँको जुन नोभलबाट तपाईँले नेपाली फिल्म बन्दी हुन्थ्यो यो मेरो चाहिँ कृतिबाट भन्ने सोच्नु भएको छ कहिले? डु यु एभर थिङ्क द्याट?
छैन, धन्यवाद। यो इङ्ग्लिस पनि प्र्याक्टिस जारी रहोस् भनेर। अब यहाँ पनि बोलेन भने कहाँ बोल्ने, यो समस्या यो कहाँ बोल्ने भएर अलिअलि भइहाल्यो। अब अर्को पालि अलिअलि हुन्छ हुँदा हुँदै। यो कस्तो बाहिरतिरबाट पनि बुक आउँछ, फेरि बाहिरतिर बोलाउँछन् अनि अलिअलि बोलिहालौँ भन्ने हो, यो प्र्याक्टिस हो। धन्यवाद सजेसनको लागि। नेपालीमा त अलरेडी बोलि नै रहेको हुन्छु। अर्को चाहिँ सिनेमा चाहिँ कतिले भन्नुहुन्छ बनाउनु पर्छ कि क्या हो भनेर। मलाई लाग्छ एकदमै राम्रो हातमा पर्यो भने यो राम्रो फिल्म बन्न सक्छ, तर 90% चाहिँ यो साह्रै बोरिङ फिल्म बन्ने देखाएको छु। त्यो एउटा हस्पिटल, एउटा बुढो बाउ, एउटा रोइरहेको आमा छोरा, त्यो 10 मिनटभन्दा बढी हेर्न सकिन्न जानेन भने। सो अहिले चाहिँ यस्तातिर खासै उ छैन। बिच ओके हजुर तुरुन्तै त छैन। त्यो मैले बुकबाट सिनेमा बनाउँछु भनेर आउने धेरै साथीहरू हुनुहुन्थ्यो। सो बुकबाट त बन्न सकिँदैन, बरु तपाईँहरूको लागि फ्रेस स्क्रिप्ट लेखिदिन्छु भनेर मैले 2-3टा सिनेमाको त मैले स्क्रिप्ट पनि लेखेँ। एउटा फिल्म त अलरेडी सुटिङमा पनि छ अहिले।
Okay, any more questions?
Namaste.
Yes, please go ahead.
Buddhi Sagar Jila, namaste. Ma'am Lapan, namaste. I love Buddhi Sagar talking in English. So I want to ask question also in English. Okay. When I was reading Karnali Blues, at that time I was writing only poetries. And I had some concept about novel. And some part I have already finished. But I had no idea how to develop different plots and how to join them together to make a novel. And at that was Buddhi Sagar. But Buddhi Sagar was not available anywhere. Now I can see him somewhere, and I just few time ago, before entering in this hall, I asked him same question, why you are not available to the public like us? So I asked that question to you.
He's a real person. He's a real person, and he's here in front of you.
Sure. I was thinking if I meet Buddhi Sagar, I will ask him how to join the plots so interesting way and how to develop them and how to finish a novel. I was thinking at that time. But later I realized the writing is not the thing that we can teach to other. Nowadays, we say ghostwriting also can teach us, and some other platform are also there. Do you think that writing can teach someone, or it is innate capacity, or what do you say about this? Thank you for question.
Thank you, ma'am. I read somewhere it's like a quotation goes like, it's like a writing novel is like a driving car in the pitch dark without headlight. So you don't know what happened next moment. So it's like, yeah, I have written 3 novels, and I'm so scared to start a new one. That's the creativity thing. Is like when you start a new writing new books, it's like you are starting from zero. Your published book will not help you. It's like it's my suggestion to write is like uh, most easy way that I do is like I write 500 to uh, uh, 1,000 words every day, same times. So I never skip that things. I skipped in my writing. I never skip my writing day. I write every day. If I don't feel good, I don't feel like okay, uh, I'm today is I am not writing a good way that I wrote in yesterday, but I write whatever comes in my mind. Uh, but later, tomorrow, I can delete it, all the things. So but don't skip. And when whatever you have started, just finish it. Don't don't leave at the between. That's my suggestion. I think you got.
Okay, 2 very interesting tips from Buddhi Sagar. Any more questions? Can you please pass the mic?
So I have one question for you also. So
Okay.
just so
Okay. The
so
tables are going to turn.
Milee ji is also Milee ji is publisher from the Penguin. Uh, so I would like to ask the question: if someone from here in the audience, if they want to publish from the publish book from the Penguin Random House, so if you have any suggestions to them, suggestions.
I think it's a good segue because the writer himself has shared 2 very good tips about writing. One, of course, be disciplined and write every day, no matter what, and never leave anything unfinished and complete your story. Other than that, I think we all have lots of stories to tell. We do look at when we are talking about fiction, we do look at authenticity and originality in terms of ideas. So even though you might have a lot of writers, you love reading, and you've grown up reading them, I think you should find your own voice and not try to copy anyone. Be original. This for fiction, right? It's very difficult to
fiction.
sort of give more tips because it's about the writing, it's the world that you create, and what you want to share with your readers. But we do know, like, I think when we read a novel, if let's say we're compelled to read beyond the 30 pages, it's a very good sign. Sometimes we get goosebumps and, we can't put the book down and you have to finish it. And we might skip dinner and other important event to finish the book. So all these are good signs, which means that you're really engaged and you want to finish the story and see what happens next. In nonfiction, it's different. We look for the best experts to write on a subject, how good the research is, and if there's a gap in the market, are there other books, similar books, or there are no books and we should publish one in that area. So those are the considerations. They are different for fiction and non-fiction. But if any of you have a book idea or you always send it to us, you can write to us. We have all the details on our website and we'll get back to you.
So one more suggestion. So you should put the Nepali language also in the publication house. You should publish Nepali book also. Why we?
I will talk to
sometimes,
you, Ajit. I'll talk to
translation,
Ajit Baral.
So because in the India there is many Nepalese readers live there, but it's so hard to send them books from here. So yeah.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, guys. It was lovely having you here, and thank you, Buddhi Sagar. Your English is much better than my Nepali, so I think I can say that for sure.
That's right.
And thank you for being here today.
I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
धन्यवाद बुद्धि सागर जी. Thank you, Milee, for the wonderful moderation. Now we have token of love. So to provide the token of love to our esteemed guest, I request Rasmi Ranjanji at the stage to provide token of love to our guest. After the token of love, can you please hold for a few seconds for the photo shoot? Thank you so much. बुद्धि सागरजीको यात्रालाई 45 मिनेटमा समेट्न साँच्चै नै गाह्रो कुरा हो, तर यो 45 मिनेट पनि हामीलाई एकदमै इफेक्टिभ भएको छ र प्रेरणादायी नै छ उहाँको जीवन यात्रा।